All right, Logan, time for the last video, classifying triangles based on angles. So one more time, just to review real quickly, acute triangles are triangles where all three angles are acute. All right, so if all the angles are acute, we call those acute triangles. Acute just means less than 90. Next, if you have two acute angles and one obtuse angle, two acute and one obtuse, you have what we call an obtuse triangle. Okay, that's an obtuse triangle. Obtuse triangle is where you have one angle that's larger than 180. Larger than 90, my mistake. One angle that's larger than 90, and then the other two angles are going to be acute in that triangle. The last one that we have is the right triangle. That's where you have two acute angles and one right angle. One more time, acute angles are where the angles are less than 90, there and there. And then you have a third angle that is going to be 90 degrees or have the right angle symbol indicating that it's 90 degrees. Our last type of triangle or classification is a very special one. This is called equiangular. Equiangular is when all the angles are congruent to each other. When all the angles are congruent. All right, so we have to learn one more thing before we can do a couple of example questions. And this thing is called the angle sum theorem. In other words, this is the theorem that says what all the angles of a triangle add up to, no matter what. The angle sum theorem states that the interior angles of a triangle have a sum, in other words, they add up, have a sum of 180 degrees. Now, we'll prove why when you guys come back from break. But right now, just know that the angles of a triangle always add up to 180. So suppose we have to classify these triangles, and our first triangle has two angles of 42 and one of 48. So we have an angle of 42 and an angle of 48. Well, I can't exactly classify this because I have two acute angles, but I don't know if this last angle right here is acute, obtuse, or right. So I have no way of classifying this thing. So what I need to do is I need to find the third angle. So what we do is we take the three angles, 42, 48, and the angle we don't know. We'll call it x. They must add up to 180. And now we can solve for x. 42 and 48 comes out to 90, so we have 90 plus x equals 180. Subtract the 90 from both sides, and we find out that x is 90. So this angle right here is a 90-degree angle. This is a right triangle. So we write that down, a right triangle. All right, let's try that one more time. Suppose we have this triangle over here with an angle of 25, an angle of 53, and an angle of I don't know. So we add the angles together, 53 plus the 25 plus the angle we don't know, x. So we can call this guy x momentarily. The angles need to add up to 180. That's what this theorem says. The theorem says that the interior angles of the triangle have to add up to 180. So we add them up. This gives us 88 plus x is equal to 180. Next, sorry, that's not really a 180, equals 180. We subtract the 88 from both sides of the problem, and we get x is equal to 92. Now, 92 is an obtuse angle. It's barely obtuse, but that makes it obtuse. So this is what we would call an obtuse triangle because it has two acute angles and one obtuse angle. All right, have a really good break. Make sure you do the assignment before break starts. So I would do it right now. And I'll see you guys when you come back on Monday. Have a good one.